I just wanted to show you that today I have placed a little pillow at my back, and I just wanted to offer you the same prop option as well. If you find that maybe sitting forward in your chair or sitting holding your posture for a long time gets tiring, a little pillow behind your back can be quite useful just to help support your spine and help you maintain that taller posture. So that is an option for you. Another option would be if you have a blanket nearby, you could always roll a blanket up as well too and use that behind you. We could put a blanket like this, a tall sort of cushion behind you for a little bit more support behind you that way as well. And once we are all ready together and seated, which I think we are, it looks like we are, why don't we first just start by saying hello to each other, a little wave. So hello, my name is Lindsey, and I'm so pleased to be here with you. So go ahead and get yourself nice and comfortable in your chair. You might like to shuffle or shift your weight from side to side, especially if you've been sitting for a little while. So just go ahead and rock a little bit side to side, bringing your balance sort of off kilter intentionally here. And then we will find our way back to center. And so much of this time of year is really all about that, finding our way back home, finding our way towards that light, that North Star, that compass. And we see that message coming to us in so many different celebrations, so many different cultures and practices. So whatever that means for you, finding your way home, finding your North Star, let's go ahead and just connect to that light inside of us all as we find our way back to our stillness. And let your spine sit up nice and tall. Good. Feel the connection here deeply of the sit bones in the chair, feeling the chair supporting you, holding you up. And then continuing that, the traveling of our attention and awareness down the crown, down the spine, down across the sit bones, and down into the feet. And we'll give our feet a little bit of a wiggle here. So maybe even looking down at your toes just for a moment, just to make that connection of your mind down to your feet. It's a long way to go. And so we'll lift the toes and see if we can spread the toes. And this might not feel so easy, spreading the toes. So we'll just do our best here, but this is so useful as a practice for us to do regularly to help us with balance. And let's see if as we spread the toes, we can start by placing the baby toe, the pinky toe down onto the mat first, followed by the fourth toe, third, second, and then finally the big toe. Feeling that lovely and strong connection of our feet, connecting down beyond the floor, beyond the mat, all the way into that earthly energy. And then you can begin to follow your breath. Notice your breath. And so here we are sitting in our lovely posture, noticing how the breath feels in the body today. Maybe perhaps noticing if you are working with any discomforts today. And so if you have any discomfort or pain in the body today, you can softly direct your attention to those areas of the body. And see if with a couple of exhales, we can just soften those tender areas. Lovely. And then we can start to direct the mind perhaps to some of the areas that are feeling pretty good today. So maybe it's just the sort of pinky finger on your right hand that's feeling good today. Or maybe it's a spot on your knee that generally feels a little twingy. But let your attention rest on a part of your body that's feeling pretty good, pretty pain-free today. And take a nice breath here, in and out. Beautiful. Lovely. And so as we sit here breathing, just notice how the breath is feeling in the body. You might start to follow the breath as it enters the nostrils, passes by the throat, down into the lungs, and then you might follow its trail all the way back out. And as we breathe here for a moment, I just want to remind you of the winter solstice energy. So this is a soft time of year. All around us in nature, animals and plant life are going relatively dormant, hibernating, and we need to remember that we are also nature. And so we most likely feel the same pull to soften and slow down, find some deep rest. And so let's bring in that energy to our practice today, and also hopefully carry it with us beyond our time together, in throughout the new year and the next little while. So if there is an intention that you would like to bring into this practice today and into the new year, let it come to your mind now. And it might be something obvious that pops into your head, and perhaps it's something not quite as obvious. Perhaps just whatever the first word that pops into your mind, maybe that is what you choose to carry with you. And notice if it changes throughout this practice as well. I'll share my word with you too, if you perhaps would care to use it for yourself. My word and my intention for this next year is focus. Focusing on what is important to me. Beautiful. Let us start to open our eyes softly, taking a look around the room that we're in, noticing the colors, the textures, and the shapes all around you. Beautiful. And then from here, we'll start to move the body very gently. So just a little bit of a shoulder roll, finding our way into our mountain pose. So mountain pose, shoulders come up, back, and down. We press down through the sit bones, we press down through the feet, and we lift through the crown of our head. So there's a lifting and a rooting happening at the same time. And this is our rest place or our neutral position. Let's keep rolling the shoulders, continuing to create a sense of balance and harmony through both sides of the body. Continue to find your breath, seeing if we can bring a feather light breath to this movement. So a feather light breath would be a soft breath. As we inhale, we wouldn't be wanting to breathe in too strongly, or the feather might go in our nose. I'm not so comfortable. And as we exhale, we want to exhale softly as well, so we don't ruffle that feather too much. So a soft inhale and a soft exhale. Good. Let's take one more circle around with the shoulders, finding your way back to center. Beautiful work. And then we'll start with a little bit of a twist. So with our hands on our knees, can we draw the right hand back towards the right hip, the left hand rolling forward or moving forward over the knee, turning the body just gently to the right. And then we will go the opposite way. So left hand drawing back to the left hip, right hand moving forward over the knee, turning softly to the left. Continue to move back and forth in this dynamic movement, turning gently to the right. You can hold or pause for a breath at the end and then move backwards towards the left. Good. So this is a nice mixture of some dynamic movement as well as some static movement. So we hold the twist at the side for a moment, and then we move back into the other side. Good. Starting to warm up the joints. Let's come back to center. Give the shoulders a nice big roll, and we're going to tilt the head over to the right. So tilting our right ear over to our right shoulder. And we can stay here, or we might like to reach the left fingertips down and away. So we create a nice long line here from crown to fingertips. We might even start to move the wrists, gently lifting the fingers up and then curling them under. Or you might prefer to keep the arms still. So take the option that feels good for you. Allow yourself to find that soft feather breath. Beautiful. And then let's bring our left hand back to our knee, taking the right hand right next to the cheek, right next to the face, and just let your head hang a little heavily into your hand. Now with an inhale, let's push our head up with our hand. So lifting our head all the way back up with the help of our hand, and then release our hand back to our knee. Roll those shoulders back to mountain pose. Just noticing here how it feels to help yourself in that way, to feel that touch of your own hand against your cheek. Feels quite nice to me. Let's tip over to the other side, left ear tipping over to left shoulder. And then we can start to reach through the right fingertips. So reaching away from that head tilt to create a longer stretch in the right side. We might like to move the fingers up and down, just starting to manipulate the wrist a little bit, or we might find stillness in the hand. Nice full breath in and out. Good. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hand back to your knee, let your left hand come up to cradle your left cheek. So you're resting heavily into that left hand. And then as we inhale, we'll lift our head all the way up using your hand to go. Release the hand down, find a nice big roll of the shoulders and a big breath in and out. Nicely done. Beautiful. Can we bring our hands together, interlacing our fingers right at our heart? And here we'll find another little twist of the thoracic spine. So we twist over to the right side and then twist back to the left. Just a little mental check-in with your knees and your feet, that everything's pointing forward. You might even imagine you've got a little block between the knees that you're squeezing together just to help direct the knees forward a little bit more. Good. Keep turning from one side to the other. Beautiful. Let's do that one more time on each side. Inhaling this time. And then exhaling to twist. Good. Bring it back to center. Let's bring our hands down into our lap, but turning your palms up. So it's like we're holding a little bowl in our hands, a little empty bowl. And then just pause for a moment and a breath here with your little empty bowl in your lap. Beautiful. So this is a new move for us today. We're going to lift our empty bowl up towards our heart. Find a nice rounding movement so that we turn the palms to face down. Then we press the palms down back towards our lap. Keeping them interlaced, can we scoop our arms out in front of us, extending through the arms? That's it. And then we can lift those arms up as high as feels good in the shoulders. Before we release the hands, the palms are going to press down at our sides. So we're pressing that energy down towards the earth. Beautiful. Bringing the hands back together, interlacing the fingers. This time, a little brain yoga, we're going to change the position of our hands. So notice how your hands are now. See if you can bring the other finger or thumb to rest on top this time. So it feels a little unusual this way. Beautiful. And then pause for a moment with your empty bowl in your lap. Take a breath. Beautiful. We're going to scoop the arms up towards the heart, just a little circle here, right at the heart, and then press the palms down to the lap. As we go, we continue to scoop the palms out in front of us, inhaling the arms all the way up as high as feels good. Release the hands, pressing down beside you. Good. Using the palms to press down, and then bring the hands back together right at your lap. We'll do this 2 more times. So pause for a moment. This time we can come back to that sort of natural feeling interlace of the fingers, circling softly in front of you up just towards the heart, and then press down through the palms towards the lap. Continue to scoop and circle all the way up. Beautiful. Big inhale. Exhale to release the arms, pressing down at your sides. Well done. Last one. Interlacing the fingers. Let's pause for just a breath. And then bringing those hands up towards heart level, pushing down towards the lap. Continue your circles to reach out and up with the palms. Inhale, exhale, pressing palms down at your sides. Nicely done. And then we can keep our hands down at our sides. Let's actually bring right hand to the right knee, the left hand coming up into a half cactus shape. Let's continue to roll gently through that left shoulder, keeping the bend in the elbow to start. We might start to grow this movement a little bit more once we're ready. We might extend a little further, straightening the arms a little bit more as we go. Or, keeping in line with our soft practice today, you might just keep things really soft and small today. And that's all right. Let us bring ourselves back up to that half cactus shape with our arm, keeping a bend to start, and your right hand on your knee. We're tipping over to the right side, keeping that bend in the elbow, just so we don't overextend to start. Good. Feel the opening here in the side, the left side of the ribs, and the tilt of the spine. A big breath in. And then exhale, elbow comes back to ribs. This time, if you want to go a little further and reach a little further through the fingertips, you can reach them up and over your head. The right hand, I kind of like to keep it on the inside of my knee just to have a little bit more support there. Good. So we're not crunching into that hip and that side of our spine. Let's exhale, elbow comes back to our ribs. One more time, lateral flexion. Inhale, lift any amount that you like. Opening up through the left side of the body, big breath in. And then exhale, elbow coming back to your side. We'll take that hand and cross it over to the opposite knee. So both hands resting on the right knee, toes pointing forward. We might walk the hands a little further up towards the hip, or we may keep them a little further down towards the knee. So it's up to you. The choice is yours. See if you can soften the breath and bring back that feather light breath. Good. You might like to close your eyes in these longer holds. When we do these softer, longer holds, this is bringing in the yin energy of the practice and of the time of year. So in yoga, yin is all about softness, coolness. It is a part of our creative side. It's that feminine energy that is a part of all of us. Good. And it's, of course, that time for thinking and introspection. Let's return back to our center, finding your way back home. Roll those shoulders up, back, and down. And then in between sides here, we'll just find a little cat and cow. So with our hands on our knees to start, can we slide the hands back towards the hips, drawing the elbows towards each other? So the shoulder blades squeeze gently, and then we lift up. So we'll keep our hands on our legs to do this part. Inhale. cow pose, and then hands move back towards the knee, shoulder blades move apart, and we might tuck the chin gently here, rounding the spine for our cat pose. Good, just a couple more now with the breath. Hands come back towards the hips, squeeze shoulder blades, squeeze elbows, inhale to lift. Exhale as the belly button pushes back towards the spine and the shoulder blades fall apart. Inhale again, shoulder blades, elbows together, the chin lifts. And exhale back to our knees, extending the arms, tucking the chin. Bringing yourself back to center now with a big roll of the shoulders back to mountain pose. Pause and just notice how you feel. Beautiful work. So now we're keeping the left hand on the left knee. The right arm starts to roll, rock and roll a little bit here. So the right arm coming up to that half cactus shape. Taking that arm for a little spin. And as we become ready, as we become warmer, we might start to extend a little further through the right arm, through the right fingertips. Good. We might even bring our gaze, our focus into this movement by watching our hand a little bit as it moves up and around. Good. Helping to challenge our balance this way. Let's bring our arm back into half cactus, bending at the elbow, reaching through the fingertips, and then finding our way to lateral flexion. So resting the left hand on the left knee, we tip over to the left. Just keep that bend to start things off. Good. Thinking about lifting up and out of the hips, just so again, we're not compacting through the spine. And then exhale, elbow coming back to our side. Let's try that again. If you want to go a little further with the fingertips, you can reach up and over a little bit more. Press down through the feet, pressing down through the hands, and maybe even pressing into the inner knee slightly. Big inhale. Exhaling, elbow to ribs. One last time. Find that beautiful strong base. Lift and reach over, opening up through the side body. Big breath in. Exhale it back to center. Elbow back to cactus arm, and then cross over to the opposite knee. Find the depth of twist that feels good. So whether hands are at our knees or walking further back towards the hips, that's up to you. That is your choice today. Bring your feet flat on the floor and see if you can just soften your gaze. See if we can soften through the face, soften through the jaw. That feather light breath coming back in. Nicely done. On our next exhalation, we'll bring ourselves back to center. A big roll of the shoulders. Good. Pausing for a moment. Actually, we're going to add a little bit of bigger cat and cow practice. So the arms can come out into a bit of more of a wider cactus arm shape, little soft bend at the elbows, but a big, broad expansiveness across the chest. Good. And then we exhale, bring everything back together, hands together, maybe elbows coming together, and we round through the spine. We can keep that bend of the elbows in both positions. Good. Inhaling to open across the heart. Exhale, bring everything together. Feel that opening across the back body. So we're balancing, finding harmony in both sides, front and back. Exhale back into that round spine. One more time each side. Inhale, opening. Exhale to round through the spine. Beautiful. And then bring it back up to center. Release the hands down to the knees. Find a big roll of the shoulders. And then we'll find a nice little spin around the hips. So we take our spine to the left and then to the front, to the right, and then back behind us. We might even think of it as the heart moving to the left, to the front, to the right and then back, and then we can smooth out those edges, making it a little bit more of a circular movement. Beautiful. Let us pause at center and then take it back the opposite way. If you'd like to start first by finding sort of those diamond points, you may bring it over to the right, the left, the right, the front, the left, and back, and then smooth out your circle or your oval. I think I mentioned this in our classes this week. My son would love to correct me that this is not a circle. This is an oval. Bring it all the way back around and then find your way back to center. Good, well done. Big roll of the shoulders. Feeling nice and warm, I imagine. I am as well. We'll take one big breath, circling the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands down to the heart center. Let's hold the hands here right at our heart, or you might place one hand on the heart and the other hand on the belly. And take a pause and see if in this pause you can bring back your intention from the beginning of our practice today. So whatever that word was that you would like to carry with you through the end of this year and into next year, bring that back to your mind. And I'm going to invite you to think of it in a way as a positive or a present tense sentence. So for example, my intention for this year is I want to be focused or more focused on what matters to me. I'm going to say it like this: I am focused on what matters to me. So you're welcome to do the same. I am, and whatever your word was. Good. Let's take one more breath here. And then exhale, releasing the hands back to your knees. Roll the shoulders back into mountain pose. Beautiful work. And we'll move into a little bit of sun salutations, because what would our winter solstice be if we were not honoring the light and the return of the light? So find your way into your chair again, but maybe shuffle a little bit side to side, readjust your position so you feel nice and balanced. Feet are coming back to the floor. Maybe another little lift of the toes we might do. So we lift and spread the toes. Good. And then even if you've got socks on, you can try this. We'll start by placing the baby toe down first, and then fourth, third, second. It's okay if they all kind of flop down together. It's more about the intention of having that nice wide base at the bottom. Fantastic, everyone. We're going to move through sun salutations, but my music seems to be just kind of, I know it's quite lovely. Oh, you know what? We are right on track with the music. I think we're behind in the music, but we're perfect. All right, everyone. So we're reaching forward now, imagining that we're picking up a giant beach ball in between our hands. We've got nice space between our hands. And then before we do anything else, can we just bring that beach ball right back to our lap? Good. We're going to bring it back out in front of us. So we're just warming up here through the hips and then back to our lap. See if you can manage to lean forward a little bit off of your chair, coming forward and coming back. Good. And coming forward and coming back. If you are ready and warm enough that you'd like to move forward gently in your chair, now would be a good time to do that. Slide a little bit forward in your chair. And if you're happy where you are, well, that's just fine. We'll stay where we are and we'll work from where we are. So let's reach forward once again, picking up our beach ball, this time lifting it up overhead as we breathe in. Let's release our hands down to our sides, cactus arms. Beautiful. And then taking that big motion back, a nice big hug across, hugging open arm energy across our chest, bringing it in for a hug. So arms crossing one over the other. If you need to rock, if you want to give yourself a little pat, a little shoulder rub, take what you need here. Just listen to your body. And maybe what you want is a little movement, and maybe what you want is a little stillness. Take a nice big breath wherever you are. Then we'll inhale again, opening the arms out wide to our sides, maybe lifting the chin. As we exhale, come in for that hug again, but cross the other arm over the top this time. So changing the top arm feels a little unusual. Let's start by taking what we need, either rocking. I love to rock side to side. I find it so comforting. But maybe you prefer to just sit with a little bit of either forward and back motion or just stillness. Good. Let's inhale, opening the arms out nice and wide, lifting up the chin towards the ceiling. Exhale everything back to center. So we bring the hands together, interlace the fingers, but let's pop out those index fingers. This is our little candle light. As we lift our arms up, we lift our candles up overhead. This little light of mine. Good. And then let's exhale, releasing the hands down to our side. So just like in our warm-up, pressing the air down beside us. Good. Bringing the hands back to our heart in Anjali Mudra, hands together, pressing palm to palm. Stop for a breath. Just pause for a moment. Nicely done. Hands come down to our knees and we roll the shoulders back and down as we lift up and out of the hips and tip forward. So we're coming into our forward fold pose. We can stay right here. We might just find a little bit of a chin tuck and a little bit of a sliding backwards of the skull. So we might just keep everything in line this way, or we might like to drop down to our elbows, holding onto our forearms, and let your head and your neck hang a little heavily, shaking your head side to side for no. Nodding forward and backwards. Beautiful. Pause here for another breath, imagining and just noticing as you inhale, you're drawing energy up through the feet. As you exhale, you send it back out the crown of the head, returning back to the earth. Good. And then let's walk our hands back up our laps, circling the spine nice and gently, and then a nice big round movement of the arms as we inhale up. Exhale, hands down to our heart. Beautiful. We're going to do that again, another round. So reaching forward for beach balls, lifting up and inhaling as we go. Anytime we lift up, we might also choose to look up today just to see how it feels in the neck. Exhale, drop elbows to your sides, cactus arms. Good. Inhale to open wide behind you and then bring it in for that hug once again, wrapping yourself up. Give a little moment here, swaying side to side, maybe a little pat, a little rub of the shoulder. Good. And then inhale, reaching back behind you, spreading across the chest. Exhale, hug yourself again, change the top arm. So different arm on top. Pause for a moment. Lovely work. Inhale, opening arms wide. This time we bring it all back together at center, interlace the fingers, popping out the index fingers, sending your candle light up overhead. You can also always be that light for others. This imagines that it's like you're turning on your porch light for others to come home to. Let's release the hands and then press the palms down beside us. Good. Sweeping the hands under and through, coming into Anjali Mudra, palms pressed together. Maybe even this time pressing a little bit through the palms. So finding a little bit of energy here through the palms, a little bit of engagement of the shoulders. Take a breath in. And then exhale, release the tension, bring the hands to your knees, lengthen through the spine, lead with the heart as you tip forward any amount. Good. You can stay here. And if you're staying upright, head above heart, just see if you can draw your chin back slightly, kind of giving yourself a bit of that double chin. Not so attractive, I know, but functional to keep the head and the spine in line. And then we can drop it down if we choose to. We can come down to the elbows, hold on to the forearms, give your head a little shake side to side, a little nod forward and back. I like to end on the positive, on the yes. And then just hang out here for a moment. Let your head go as much as you can. Inhaling, drawing energy up through the soles of the feet. Exhaling, cycling through, returning back out the crown. Good, like a nice circular breath. Inhale, drawing up. Exhale, returning it back down. One more breath. Just taking a little peek at how everyone's doing. And then exhale, releasing the hands back to the knees. You can start to walk the hands up the lap. Good, and we'll circle the arms up with an inhale. Maybe take a little look up at your hands and then exhale, watch them float down to your heart center. Pause and breathe. Feeling that lovely prana, that lovely energy swirling around us. We created that. Good, and then we'll release the hands back to our knees. And we're going to move a little bit into the low body here now for just a few moments. So can we start with a nice march of the heels? So lifting one heel and then the other. Good. Coming up to the tiptoes as much as we can. And then we can grow this movement a little bit so we can start to pick the foot up. We can always stick with our heel lifts too. That's an option. Always an option. Good. Lifting the heel up. And then we're going to add on from here if we like. We can add some arm movement. So noticing that we're bringing opposite arm up and opposite knee. And I'm just going to move forward slightly here in my chair again. Lifting left foot up, reach the right fingertips out. Lowering everything down. Right foot, left hand. Lower down. Good. Last one, just like this. And then we're going to add on one more time. You can stay with any of the variations that we've done already, but this time we're going to try to cross the left arm over. The wrist kind of comes to touch that right knee, and then we lower down. Try to keep the spine nice and tall. Crossing over, left wrist touching right wrist touching left knee. Bring it back to center. I'm adding an extra element of confusion to an already complicated movement. Sorry, forgive me for that. Good. One or two more. Left knee lifts. Right arm crossing over. Good. Lower down. Let's finish this strong. Right knee, left arm, and then bring it back to center. Nicely done, everyone. Give your knees a little windshield wipering. A big breath, a big sigh of relief as we bring our feet out into a wide leg position. I like to end these practices with a nice warrior sequence, similar to what we did a couple weeks ago, if you recall. It's so nice for us to soften at this time, but I also want to acknowledge that sometimes we do need a little bit of resilience and strength to get through these darker days because they can be quite hard on most of us. So we're going to end with a little warrior sequence for resilience and strength and energy to move through this time. So with our feet in this wide leg position, if you haven't gotten there yet, let's see if we can just tick-tock the toes out to face the corners. Sitting up a little bit taller. Option to extend the right foot out to your side. Now you might like to shift slightly to the left hip. I find that a bit more comfortable. And then the right toes can turn inwards towards center a little bit. Good. Find yourself that T shape of the arms because we come into our warrior two pose. So wherever our legs are, they may be both flat on the floor. Let's see if we can turn our torso or our gaze towards the left knee and the left hand. So let's bring that element of focus in here as we focus our gaze on the left middle finger. Beautiful. Take a breath here. I know the shoulders get tired in this pose, so we're going to move. Let's take the back hand, sweep it around to meet the front palm, and then draw back on your bow. Remember, we did this a couple weeks ago. Let's wrap and swing the arm around to the front, pulling back on our bow. One more time, sweeping the arm to the front, draw back on your bow. This time, lift your arrow, the left hand up towards the sky. We can let that arrow go with a little playful bing if we like, and then let the right hand float down to rest on the right leg. Left palm or the top hand turns to face behind us, and we can keep a soft bend in the elbow. And then when we're ready, reach a little bit further up and out through the fingertips. So just like in our lateral flexion, we think about lifting up and out of the hips, pressing down firmly through the feet, and then seeing if we can find a little bit of that baby back bend through the left side of our body. One more big breath. Good. And then returning the arms back into their T shape, looking to focus your gaze over the left middle finger. Last breath. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale to soften the arms down at your sides. Turning back to center. Bring those feet back in to rest underneath the knees. Hips and ears can come back into alignment. Take a soft breath here and just notice how you feel. Beautiful. We're going to move into the other side now so we can find again the wide leg position of our feet. Toes are turned out towards the corners. Readjust yourself as you need to. And then you can keep your feet both flat on the floor if you choose, or if you'd like to slide the left leg out a little bit longer, you might find a little shift towards the right hip helps. And then you can turn the toes in, or maybe even bring that foot out towards center a little bit more. Play around with what feels good in the hips, and then you can bring the arms out into their T shape, gazing this time over the right middle finger. Inhale, exhale. Soften in, rooting down through the feet, finding that extension here of the heart out and out through the arms and through the fingertips. And then we'll bring that back hand around to the front and draw back on our bow. Other hand this time, left hand pulling back. This side feels a little bit different. Swing that hand around to the front, pull back on your bow. Good. One more time. Reaching around, pulling back on your bow. This time we lift the arrow up as high as feels good. Let go of your arrow with a playful woo. And then let the left hand float down to the left leg. The right palm turns so that it's facing backwards or behind, in the direction of your face. Lift through the fingertips as high as feels good, or even think more about lifting through the elbow. Good. Take a big breath in. Create nice space between the elbow and the hips. Exhale, soften and sink. Good. One or two more breaths as you feel comfortable. When you are ready, we can windmill the arms back to warrior two. Arms are in that T shape, focusing your gaze out over the right middle finger for a moment. And then we inhale to float the arms up softly. Exhale, letting them come back to rest at our lap. And we turn ourselves back to center. Beautiful. Bring the feet nice and close together. And we'll end with a butterfly pose. Let the inner edges of the feet touch. Roll to the outside edges of the feet. And just let the knees fall apart. Hands can rest right on the knees. Think about lengthening the spine in this pose. So we'll start with a nice tall spine and the knees in this diamond shape. Soft feather-like breath. Imagining once again that little feather has come to rest beneath the nose. We don't want to breathe it in too hard, and we don't want to exhale to disturb it either. And once you feel comfortable, if you'd like to round a little bit more through the spine, you could start to press back. So pressing the heart back behind you, lengthening through the arms, slightly pressing gently into towards the knees, and then we can tuck the chin in as much as feels good. So being mindful here that we've got some big nerves that run from the heels all the way up into the skull. And so those nerves sometimes prefer a flossing sensation. So you might like to sort of floss this movement a little bit, meaning coming in and out a few times before you find your way into that stillness. Maybe closing the eyes, finding stillness in the darkness, finding quiet there, finding safety there as we reflect on this past year, as we give thanks for all of our blessings. This is the time of year where we can start to show the people that we care for that we really appreciate them in our lives. And as always, noticing the return of the light. Light a candle, say a prayer, sing a song, or tell stories. And then one final time, I'll invite you to bring your intention back in. That word or that energy, intention you'd like to carry through the rest of this year into the new year. Just bringing it to mind one more time. I am. And then let's bring ourselves back upright, feet on the floor. We will rest for a very short shavasana and before we break. So come all the way back into your chair. Let your feet maybe just reach out in front of you a little bit more so you can really allow the whole weight of your body to sink into the support of your seat. Softening your breath. If we were to call this time of year by a yoga pose, an asana name, we would be in the Shavasana time of year, the end of this cycle. So let's really embrace this time as we allow all of the benefits of our practice, of our lives to be absorbed, taking what we need and leaving what we don't. Above all, carrying the lessons with us. Continue to follow your breath, allowing the physical body to become a little bit more relaxed with every exhale. Allowing the mind and the thoughts to soften. May you find peace in the promise of the solstice night, that each day forward is blessed with more light, that the cycle of nature, unbroken and true, brings faith to your soul and well-being to you. Rejoice in the darkness, in the silence, find rest, and may the days that follow be abundantly blessed. Beginning to bring your attention back to your space, back to your body. Inviting gentle movement back now, wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe extending that out to a gentle stretch or yawn. And then in your own time, bringing yourself back to your seated position, hands coming together at your heart. And we'll close with a moment of gratitude by rubbing palms together. And once you've got that lovely warmth between your palms, you can keep them where they are at your heart, or you can place your palms over your eyes. And we will say our thanks. Thank you to our Mother Earth for sustaining and nourishing us. Thank you to our community of family and friends and the helpers, and as well to the ancestors and teachers that came before us. And thank you to yourself for honoring your needs today and taking this time for your practice. And if there is anyone or anything else that you would like to privately thank, you can do so now in your mind. And then we'll bring our hands back together at our hearts. Draw your thumbs up to your third eye, that space between the eyebrows, and we will bow to each other, bow to the ancient practice of yoga. The light in me honors the light in each of you. May that light continue to shine brightly throughout this year and into the new year. Thank you so much for being here with me week after week. I appreciate it so much, and I wish you a wonderful holiday, a wonderful new year, and I will see you again soon. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.